guys, my name is Atsard, and today we're going to be rhetorically analyzing a poem named Museum of Fine Arts by W.H. Auden. While a boy falls from the sky, a farmer just keeps plowing his field. That's the scene in Virgil's Fall of Icarus, and it's also the heart of W.H. Auden's poem, Museum of Fine Arts. If you're a student or just someone who likes poetry breakdowns, here is why this short poem still matters and what it teaches us about looking away from suffering. So, just to tell you a little bit about the poem, Auden wrote the poem in 1938, just before World War II, and the poem describes how ordinary life goes on even while tragedy happens right next to it. For example, a dog keeps scratching, a plowman keeps working, and a ship sails calmly on. Meanwhile, Icarus, the boy who flew too close to the sun, falls into the sea. Nobody notices him, nobody cares about him. And today, for my audiences, I'm going to be looking at young readers scrolling past bad news on their feeds, and this message feels strikingly familiar to them. Now, you may ask, what strategies does W.H. Auden use to make that point? First, imagery. He sets everyday chores besides human suffering, and that contracts hits emotionally even for modern readers. Second, juxtaposition. The poem barely mentions Icarus. Instead, it highlights ordinary details, and the structure itself tells us that tragedy gets overshadowed every day. And third, ethos. By invoking the old masters, the poem leans on the authority of great art, and that appeals to educated audiences. But it also today gives readers a sense of tradition, as if indifference has always been part of human life. But if you think about your own media habits, you'll notice what's missing. The poem avoids pathos, there's no emotional testimony, and there's no voice crying out. It also avoids a call to action. Unlike journalism and activism today, Auden doesn't tell us what to do, and it doesn't make its 1938 context explicit enough. The audience has to connect the dots by themselves, and that means modern readers, especially young students, may feel both intrigued at the same time, but also unsettled on the other end. But even though the poem is powerful, it withholds the tools we'd expect it to get to us itself. And with that, we'd have to think for things ourselves in the poem. And you might ask why this matters to you, but that's the rhetoric trick W.H. Auden uses. By staying calm, also detached, Auden forces his audience, like you, me, and anyone reading this, to do all the work. We realize how normal it is to ignore suffering in the world, not because people are cruel, but because they're just distracted. That warning lands especially hard for young audiences today. So if you scroll past a tragedy online without reacting to it, aren't you the plowman in the field? So for today, guys, what I want you guys to take away from this rhetorical analysis is that the Museum of Fine Arts is more than just an art poem. It's a warning about audience responsibility. So the next time suffering shows up on your feed online, ask, are you going to be the one who looks away, or are you going to be the one who notices? Thanks for watching, guys. And for more rhetorical breakdowns, subscribe to Codes.